Okay guys, so my name's Vinny B, and I want to talk to you today about why The Amazing Spider-Man is one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. Because it's really good, and if you've seen it, you would know that. Okay, so let's begin with a quick history of Spider-Man movies. So we had in 2002, Sam Raimi made Spider-Man, and that was really good. And then, so they made a sequel, Spider-Man 2, which was also really good. And then we get to the third one. Yeah, that happened. So at the time, Sony wanted to reboot Spider-Man. So they got the guy who did 500 Days of Summer, which is my favorite movie ever. And he did a really good job with that movie. So they got him to make this movie. And what this movie does really well is it takes the Spider-Man story and it makes it grounded and realistic. And that's why it resonates so well with people. Because when you get down to the heart of it, this is a really human story with human characters. And there's themes. So when we talk about the themes that are present in this movie, what you have to understand is that as a person, they really read. And honestly, the other movies felt like they were misrepresenting me. But then when I watch this movie, and I see the things that Peter Parker is going through, it reminds me of the things that I went through. And when you break down the Spider-Man character, that's what it's about. It's about these more human, intimate moments that we experience with each other. And that's what The Amazing Spider-Man does so well, because it's making a more human story with themes that are present. And that's when this movie's at its best. And if you don't like that, then I think you're just too stupid to get what this movie does, because it does it really well. And then to bring it all home and to show the monsters in Peter's life, I think is a really important message that the director Mark Webb was trying to bring home. Because that's what Mark Webb is showing us when he shows the movie. Because of the themes that he shows us. And it's really complex, emotional issues that are at the heart of it. And this is more than just a kid's movie. It's something bigger than that. But I think kids can also watch it, because on the surface, without looking into the themes, it is a movie about a guy in a spider costume and a guy in a lizard costume. But underneath of that, that's where the real story is. And that's what Mark Webb is trying to show us. And that's what's really important about this movie. And it really does resonate with the more human aspects of storytelling, which is why we watch these superhero movies in the first place. And that brings me to the next point that I want to discuss from this movie. And that's the characters that are present. Because they do characters so well in this movie. They feel like real people. The relationships that Peter Parker has with these. But then when we watch the Amazing Spider-Man movie, they feel much more realistic. And it's the type of relationship that I would have with a girl or her father. And I think that's really important to showcase in the movie, especially when you're trying to get an audience on board with it. Because if I can't relate to the main character, then I can't enjoy the movie. And in this movie, the main character is very human, and it feels like I'm watching myself at times, because I've experienced things that Peter Parker has also experienced. And in a lot of ways, I feel like a Peter Parker myself. I don't have too many friends at school, and I'm always picked on because of what I'm into. And seeing a superhero have those same problems makes me enjoy watching that superhero a lot more. And seeing him be able to get the girl inspires me in a way that the other movies weren't able to, because they felt too cartoony. They didn't feel realistic. But the way that he's done in this movie, it really resonates with me as a person. And I think other audience members felt the same way when this was the most successful Spider-Man movie opening weekend. And I think that's because these characters really resonated with people. I've known plenty of girls who related a lot to the trauma that Gwen Stacy was experiencing in this movie. And I know plenty of guys who felt like Captain Stacy. And I think that's really important. This brings me to the next point I want to make, which is tone. I think this movie has a tone, and it's a really good one. And movies, because it does have the spirit of the old Spider-Man comic books. And if you've actually read them, then you would realize that this is what Steve Ditko would have gone for if he actually had the money to make this. Because this is a much more human, realistic story. And that's what Peter Parker's about. Being human and realistic in spite of all the danger that he faces on a regular day. Because he still fights bad guys, but he's also still worried about making sure that he has enough money for lunch. And that's what makes him so realistic. And I think that tone could have easily gone wayside, but I think Mark Webb pulls it off in a very realistic fashion. And this brings me to my final point about why The Amazing Spider-Man is my favorite movie. And that's because it's just a good movie. It's a good story about a character that you can relate to. And the story is just really good, especially when you actually pay attention to what's happening. It's exciting. You sit there enthralled in the adventure. And it's really hard to come by these days. But The Amazing Spider-Man does it in a way that I've never seen done before. And that makes it really amazing. And the CG in this movie is unlike anything I've ever seen before. It looks so realistic in a good way. And I think that's the most impressive thing about it. And Spider-Man's never looked better. And I don't think any superhero has. And the costume design in this movie. Spider-Man's never looked better. And I don't know if he ever will. Because they pull off something amazing. And that's why The Amazing Spider-Man is my favorite movie ever. Hey guys, it's me, Vinny B, and I just wanted to say I hope you really enjoyed my video essay on